All right, we're live. Hey gals and guys, welcome to the second ever episode of my show, MK. Meghan Klingenberg is your BFF. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm your host and BFF, Meghan Klingenberg. Some episodes, BFF will mean best founder friend, best foodie friend, but it will always mean your best effing friend. And today, of course, with the World Cup underway and a mage USA win to Selly, woo, I am your best football friend. Today, of course, I'm going to recap America's first 2019 World Cup showing in full glorious 13-goal detail. I'll also be doing a World Cup food showdown, and we'll revisit some of my predictions from the first episode to see if I know my shit or what. But first, it's time to catch up on your headlines and hot goss. I know everyone is still buzzing from that France game, and this is the perfect opportunity to jump into my hot goss. So here we go. My first World Cup hot goss headline today is, to be honest, a rant. Is VAR, aka Video Assistant Refereeing, a good thing at this World Cup? The bigger question, I think, is whether VAR is exposing fouls and handballs in the box. Is that a good thing? And I think this is a great question because VAR has been the determining factor in a few of these group games so far. In a lot of ways, it has been really good for the women's game. It hasn't slowed down the games at all. It ensures that goals are, in fact, goals, and it creates a safer playing environment for these players. But VAR has an ugly side. And in my opinion, that ugly side is rearing its head in the most crucial of moments. Can we say that VAR got it right? VAR got it right on the Doherty handball inside the box when Jenny Hermoso hit her hand in Spain versus Scotland. And arguably, it was Spain versus South Africa when Jenny Hermoso hit Van Wyck's hand in the box, and they called it, ensuring a huge swing in momentum, and Spain ended up going on to win the game. But not only that, South Africa had to deal with not one penalty kick, but two penalty kicks. Two. The second one, Vilakazi took an ill-advised swing and took a big chunk out of a Spanish player. But arguably, that isn't exactly a call. That isn't exactly something that would be called in the normal run of play. My issue isn't with having VAR. My issue with VAR is how it is fully changing the course of games by exposing the handball rule and slowing things down to the point that everyone looks awkward in slow-mo. And fouls look unnatural, slowed down. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're moving this slow, everything looks weird and unnatural. So, if you take a real look at it, that cross from Jenny Hermoso on Spain that hit Van Wyck's hand has a 1% chance of going in the run of play. She has to cross it. It has to find another Spanish player's head who has to put it on goal with good technique, and the goalkeeper has to miss it, all while staying onside. I think 1% is being pretty generous. But when you call that handball, it goes to the penalty spot, and you actually get probably a 72% chance, depending on how good Jenny Hermoso is at penalty kicks, of it going in. To me, that's changing the entire game. And yes, VAR, I don't know why I keep doing that, but I do, so deal with it. VAR is a great tool, but clearly we need to take steps to ensure that it is being used in an appropriate capacity and one that is going to make the games better and make players safer and not have players worrying about things such as this. Finally, from a defender's point of view, I hear people saying that defenders just need to change the way that they're playing. Well, okay, that's a little bit ridiculous. Have you ever tried running with your hands behind your back? It's not easy. Playing with your hands behind your back is not normal, and quite frankly, that is a ridiculous thing to ask. What if a player goes across it, I put my hands behind my back, and then they cut me? Well, of course they're going to get the step on me because I don't have my arms to drive myself forward. I think it's a completely unnatural ask of players, and it's not something that is going to make the game better. Listen, I told you I was going to rant, but I will just get even more heated in the future in this World Cup. Just stay tuned for that. Not sure when it's going to happen, but we know it all well. Anyways, mixed reviews on VAR this World Cup so far. Before we talk about the other crazy records, let's talk about a feel-good moment in 2019 World Cup history so far. Argentina has their first point ever. Woo! That's it. And now, some super important, totally fake words from our not actually real sponsor. Today's episode of Meghan Klingenberg is Your BFF is brought to you by my new side hustle, ceramics. I bet you all were wondering why this was sitting up there. Just shoot me a Venmo with your order and haha, JK. But come on, have you ever seen a basil planter of this caliber, people? Wait, let me just up close and that's Carolina blue, by the way. Let me just set that there. I appreciate likes and comments on the planter. And now, BFFs, let's recap the first showing for the U.S. women's national team in this year's World Cup. Drum roll, please. First, that score, though. USA absolutely obliterated Team Thailand with a record-breaking score of 13-0. There were some records made. What records, you ask? Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. It was the biggest U.S. win at the World Cup, previously held by a 7-0 victory over the Chinese Taipei at the 1991 World Cup, which, by the way, was the inaugural World Cup. It was also the largest margin of victory in a World Cup match, surpassing Germany's record. There were the most individual goal scorers in a single women's World Cup match. Yay, Team USA. With 5 goals, Alex Morgan tied the Team USA record for most goals in a World Cup match with Michelle Akers, pretty good company there, who was on the 91 and 99 Women's World Cup winning teams. And here's a biggie. It was the most goals scored by any team ever in a World Cup match, men's or women's. Take a bite out of that one. Let's bookmark that for a bigger convo around equal play another time, though. After that game and that score, there's been a lot of early buzz around the Golden Boot race. And quite frankly, I have a lot of things to say on that. Don't get me wrong. I want an American to win the Golden Boot. But Alex Morgan's 5 goals throws off the entire race. Thailand is clearly the worst team in the tournament. Side note, so sorry, Thailand, because it's not your fault. We can talk about that some other time. But Thailand, there's no other team like Thailand in the tournament. Nobody's going to win 13-0 over Chile or Spain or any other team in the tournament. So this becomes a huge lopsided race. And quite frankly, it's not Alex Morgan's fault. But it's also not fair to anybody else in the tournament because they're not going to play Thailand and not be able to rack up 5 goals in one game. Quite frankly, 5 goals in one game, in a whole tournament is a pretty good record. That could be the Golden Boot race right there. Turns out it must be a race for the silver boot. Now, back to the USA game. There are 3 things that I think we learned from Team USA's win. 1, the USA didn't show any weaknesses, which that's a win in my book. They could have played poorly. They could have done a lot of things that would have showed teams how to beat them down the road, but they didn't do that. They took it to Thailand with style, scored a lot of goals, and they made themselves look really good. Second, we talked about the defense last time and how they need to be rock solid going forward to win this World Cup. Well, nothing to say there because quite frankly, there's nothing that happened in USA's defensive third. If there was any penalty box entries, I don't remember them. And finally, let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about, and that is USA goals celebrations. Listen, you have to be ruthless in a World Cup. Score as many goals as possible because you need those goals in worst case scenario. Now, say something bad happens in the United States group. They fail, they don't win all the games that they're expected to, and they need those points to go through. That's a smart win. You have to play that right. You have to be ruthless. But at the same time, this is Thailand, and it is 13-0. Let's have a little respect for Thailand. Let me bring it back a little bit. I can understand having joy, having excitement about scoring, especially since this is the culmination of a lot of these players' career goals. Going to the World Cup, scoring their first ever World Cup goal in front of friends and family on the grandest stage possible. Of course, there's going to be joy and excitement and exuberance. But at the same time, let's have a little tact. Let's have a little respect on the bench. Those individual players, cheer, enjoy, celebrate with your families. But there's no need for the bench to get so worked up about the 13th goal in a landslide victory. Now, I'm sure the team wasn't thinking about this at all, but it's created a media firestorm where people are talking about this, and it will not stop until they either play the next game and create some new controversy, or they, will continue to hear this throughout the whole tournament. You always want to try to avoid certain situations that are going to stay with your team the entire tournament, and this happens to be one of them. So, I want to know what you all think about that. I want to know what you think about the celebrations and how the USA should handle things in those instances. And I also want to know how you feel about the Golden Boot race. No. Sorry. So tweet me, gram me, tell me what you think. I want to hear from you. And here we go. Before we break down our most delicious bracket, just a reminder that I'm Meghan Klingenberg, your host of Meghan Klingenberg is your BFF. Thank you for joining me. Love having you. This has been a blast creating these World Cup shows so far. So next up, what we're going to do is go back and check out my early predictions from the group stage round and see how I did. Let me pull up my group. Boom, here we go. So the way that I set it up is Group A, Group B, Group C, etc., etc. And I topped them as France would be the winner, Norway would come in second, South Korea would come in third, and Nigeria would come in fourth. I did that for all of them. So as you can see, I'm on a pretty good track right now. If you remember, I said lockdown Group A, winner France, boom, that's going to happen. Group B, Germany has not looked so impressive so far, but they're still on top. Big win today. Group C, that is a toss-up. And quite frankly, I did not see Italy coming in that hot, but good for them. That's amazing. Group D, Japan is totally letting me down. Thanks a lot, Japan. I'm going to need you to pick it up because I don't want to be wrong on one pick going into the knockout round. Group E, we're still on track here. Canada's looking good. Netherlands got one in the very last second, but I think that shows a sign of grit. And if that was the Americans, I think everybody would say, look at that heart. Look at that grit. Look at that. They don't need style. They don't need anything. They have all the mentality. Well, now I'm saying that about the Netherlands. Finally, Group F, USA, clearly in the lead here. I'm looking forward to that USA-Sweden matchup, though, because USA always seems to struggle with the Swedish style. All right, so let's talk about my teams I'm most impressed with so far. 1, France. 2, Italy. And 3, I'm going to give it to Argentina. France, because let's face it, they're a world-class team. If you just watched that game, I mean, holy crap, mind blown, right? I've never even seen Wendy score an own goal, but it happened. And the penalty kick to save them, honestly, doesn't matter. It looks like France has the grit. It looks like France has the will to win. It looks like they'll do anything to make it right in France to go through. I'm still very impressed with them so far. Also, Italy. I think they're a dark horse that people don't really know about, but you need to know about Italy. They went completely undefeated in their Euro qualifying group until the very last game, but they sat all of their starters. So, arguably, European qualifying is the hardest in the world, and Italy went undefeated, -1 game. We're just going to forget about that one. And they're showing why. So far at this World Cup, I'm so excited to keep watching them play. And third, another shout out to Argentina. It's so kick-ass. I hope that their league becomes a tremendous success. I hope that the league breeds more amazing, incredible players like Estefani Bonini, and we can see them in World Cups to come, because I just think the sky is the limit for that team. All right, let's move on to my least impressed team so far. It has to be Japan, Australia, and Germany. Japan, you are killing me. Come on, you have the experience. You've been to the finals of the World Cup in the last 2 tournaments, and you start out like that? I mean, a credit to the team you're playing, but at the same time, like, pick it up. It's Argentina's first World Cup, and they got, it's Argentina's first point in the World Cup. That can't happen against you. If you want to win, then you have to bring it, and you have to impose your will and style on the game and on these teams that you're playing against. Second, it kills me to say this, but Australia. I have so many teammates and so many friends in Australia, but they're not looking at their best, whether it's directly before the tournament playing the Netherlands, or whether it's in their group stage. They just don't look like themselves. Hopefully they can plug up some poles in the back and get on track. Finally, Germany. I don't know what's going on with them. They are so experienced. They are a tournament team, and they look like they're floundering so far. Don't get me wrong, they've gotten results, but they have not been impressive results. This episode of Meghan Klingenberg is Your BFF is brought to you by Postmates, who's going to be delivering me a delicious World Cup-themed, World Cup-inspired meal at the end of each episode, right? Hey, guys, did we get that order in time? You said it's going to be coming? Oh, we didn't actually do it? Are you sure? Okay, I'm going to be starving, though. No? Okay, that would be better than a new couch. But speaking of couches, remember, I am looking for a new couch for our set. As much as I love this couch, CB2, article.com, whoever wants to come through on that sponsorship, hit your girl up in the comments. Okay, so we've done the bracket breakdown. We have discussed who is the best chance of winning each bracket in the World Cup of soccer. But who would win each bracket in the World Cup of food? I know that's what you all really care about, and we'll be following this deliciously competitive tournament all throughout this month. Let's take a look at the group stage. So, same kind of idea here. We're going to have a group stage, so each country is still in their group. But what I've done is pick one traditional dish from each country that will be going head-to-head against the other countries in the group. They'll be competing for the best cuisine. And so I'm just setting it up today. We will pick winners, and I think you all can help with this as well. We will pick winners going into the next show. So what will happen is France has the baguette and the chocolate croissant. Nigeria has jollof rice. I don't know if you've ever had that, but it is like very kick-ass. South Korea has bibimbap. I mean, that's classic. Norway has tubes of caviar. Anyways, I think we can all probably pick the winners in this group. Group B, let's say, is going to have tapas for Spain, pretzels, duh, for Germany, warm and delicious. China, I gotta be honest, I ate a lot of PB&Js in China when I was there for the national team, but The street food looks amazing. That's just not something I could take a chance on when I had a game the next day. South Africa, very meaty. Literally look up foods of South Africa and you cannot find one without some sort of meat in it. I feel like that doesn't really do it for this vegan, so I'll leave that one up to you all. Group C. This is definitely the group of death in my opinion. There is some amazing cuisine in this group. Italy, I mean, they're the clear favorite in this group, whether you're picking pasta, Parmesan, whether you're picking, you could, like wine. Mind blown on the amount of things that you could pick. So I just kind of put Italy. Didn't really pick a dish because it's just like so good. Jamaica, plantains. They're fried plantains. Oh, man. Are we sure that Postmates isn't coming? Because, like, if we could change the order to plantains. On it. Sorry, back to bringing it back. Australia, avocado toast. Put a little sprinkle of lime on there. That is epic. Brazil, have you ever had their little cheesy breads? They're warm. They come out. They have the cheese in them. Those are good. All right, Group D. Japan, birthplace of sushi. That is their dish, clearly. Argentina, I went with yerba mate because that's like all the rage right now, and it's pretty traditional drink. If you have a better idea, hit me up in the comments. England, Scotland, I didn't really know what bland foods to pick. I might hit up Mark Parsons later and be like, yo, what do the English eat besides fish and chips that's not bland? Anyways, we're going to say fish and chips for England. Into Group E. This is a pretty good group as well. I had a pretty hard time here. Canada, poutine. I mean, come on, that's like one of the best dishes ever. That would compete against almost anything in the world. Netherlands, stroopwafel. Does anybody know what that is? I'm just going to explain right now. It's like this gooey, delicious, caramel-filled cookie that you take and put on top of your hot tea so it gently melts. And then you take a giant bite. Well, however big you want the bite to be. But for me, it's always a giant bite of your stroopwafel, and you pair it with your tea. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm very fond of stroopwafels. They have a great chance of going through. Cameroon, I'm so sorry if I butcher this. Cameroon, I've never actually been or had any cuisine from there, but it looks amazing. Ndole? Apparently it's a dish of stewed nuts and ndole, which is an indigenous leaf that spices it, plus meat. It sounded really good in all of the travel books. And anyways, I did my research. And in New Zealand, Marmite. I know a lot of people love that, but it is so salty. Okay, on to Group F. Chile, empanadas. Okay, that is a kick-ass pick. Thailand, pick anything. Okay, you could have pad thai. You could have your cashew chicken. I mean, you could even have your like lettuce wraps with the peanut sauce. That peanut sauce by itself should just be the dish, I think. USA, hamburger, all-American classic. And Sweden, kanelbullar plus köttbullar. Okay, let me explain. Kanelbullar is just Swedish cinnamon rolls. They're amazing. Okay, you just take a coffee and a cinnamon roll and enjoy life. You can fika if you like. And secondly, köttbullar is Swedish meatballs. I mean, clearly if it's called Swedish meatballs in another language, they must be good. So we will keep track of these matchups, and then what will happen, winner of Group A will play winner of Group B, winner of Group C will take on winner of Group D, and winner of Group E will compete against winner of Group F. Also, hot debate. I'd love for all of you to settle for me. Where did the empanada come from? Because Google is not helpful at all. Clearly, the empanada is one of the best players in this World Cup of food. This is going to have a huge impact on the chances of some countries making it out of their bracket. AKA, this mystery must be solved. Well, BFFs, that's all for today's episode of Meghan Klingenberg is your BFF. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here in my apartment, complimenting my pottery skills, and talking about the World Cup. I cannot wait to do it again. The next game for Team USA is this Sunday, so I'll be returning for another episode of Meghan Klingenberg is Your BFF on Monday, June 17th, around 1 Eastern / 10 Pacific time. Can't wait. Till then, tell a BFF about the show, add me with any questions and comments, or topics you want to discuss on a future episode. Thank you so much. Talk soon.